Okay, so you want to own a gym. In your head, the business looks beautifully simple. You lease a big space, fill it with rows of treadmills and squat racks, sell hundreds or thousands of memberships, and watch monthly payments arrive whether it is Monday morning or midnight. The car park is full, the music is on, every machine seems busy. Surely that is what a successful gym looks like. Not necessarily. A gym can be crowded and financially uncomfortable at exactly the same time. Every member who walks through the door creates wear, cleaning, staffing pressure, maintenance, showers, electricity, and competition for equipment. Yet the membership fee may not change at all. Oddly, the customer who pays every month and visits only occasionally can be easier on the economics than the customer who practically lives beside the bench press. That changes what you are really buying. You are not simply buying equipment and selling workouts. You are building a recurring revenue system with a fixed amount of physical capacity, and the entire model depends on how many paying members that capacity can support without making the experience miserable. Suppose you collect $40 a month from 1,500 members. That sounds like $60,000 in monthly revenue. Good start. But how much disappears into rent, payroll, equipment financing, insurance, utilities, software, marketing, repairs, and the cost of getting those 1,500 people through the door in the first place? And before any membership payment arrives, what does opening the gym actually cost? That is where the economics become much more interesting. Start with the first decision, because a gym can mean several very different businesses. At one end is the low-cost membership club. Lots of members, relatively low monthly fees, large floors, plenty of equipment, and a model built around recurring dues. At the other end is the boutique studio. Fewer customers, higher prices, scheduled classes, and much more revenue tied to instructor time. Between them sits the independent full-service gym, perhaps charging more for personal training, classes, nutrition coaching, small group sessions, drinks, merchandise, or recovery services. Those models can all make money, but they make money for different reasons. A budget club needs scale. A boutique studio needs yield per customer. An independent gym usually needs a mixture of both. And before you choose any of them, you meet the first serious number: startup capital. Suppose you are opening an independent neighborhood gym in the United States. Not a giant national franchise, not a luxury health club with a pool, but a serious 8,000 to 12,000 square foot facility. Your lease may require deposits and months of commitment before opening. Then come flooring, showers, electrical work, access control, signs, lockers, security, software, and equipment. For a hypothetical mid-sized build, assume you commit $450,000 before opening, $250,000 for equipment, $120,000 for construction and fit-out, and $80,000 for deposits, professional fees, pre-opening payroll, marketing, and working capital. That $450,000 is not a universal gym price. Location, size, equipment choices, landlord contributions, and franchising can move the number dramatically. The important point is that the equipment is only part of the investment. A room full of machines is not yet an operating business. Once the doors open, however, gyms gain an economic advantage that restaurants, retailers, and many service businesses would love to have: recurring payments. A customer does not usually decide whether to buy the gym again every Tuesday. They join once, authorize recurring billing, and continue paying until they cancel. That reduces the number of individual sales decisions the business must win each month. Large operators show how powerful that structure can become. Planet Fitness reported that roughly 90% of both corporate-owned club and franchise revenues in 2024 came from recurring streams such as monthly dues, annual fees, and royalties. By the end of 2025, the company reported approximately 20.8 million members across 2,896 clubs. Recurring membership revenue can make a fitness business far more predictable than daily foot traffic suggests. Now take our hypothetical independent gym. Suppose it reaches 1,600 members, paying an average of $42 per month after discounts and membership mix. That creates $67,200 in monthly membership revenue. Add $8,000 from personal training, small group sessions, drinks, and other extras, and total monthly revenue reaches about $75,000. Then subtract the operating machine. Assume $18,000 for rent and occupancy costs, $24,000 for payroll and payroll-related expenses, $8,000 for utilities, cleaning, software, insurance, repairs, and administration, and another $7,000 for marketing, card processing, equipment leases, and miscellaneous operating costs. That leaves roughly $18,000 before taxes, owner distributions, major equipment replacement, and any debt payments tied to the original build. That is an encouraging number. It is also where gym economics become interesting, because many of those expenses do not rise proportionally every time another member joins. The landlord does not normally raise the rent because member number 1601 signed up. The access control system does not demand a second subscription because member number 1602 walked through the door. If there is room in the building and enough equipment, another member paying $42 may add very little immediate cost. That means the gym has operating leverage. At low membership, fixed costs crush you. Near break-even, every new member matters. Once fixed costs are comfortably covered, additional recurring memberships can improve profit surprisingly quickly. Using our simplified example, suppose the gym needs about $57,000 a month to cover its regular operating expenses before owner profit and taxes. If extras contribute $8,000, then memberships need to provide roughly $49,000. At an average of $42 per member, that is about 1,167 paying members. Below that level, the owner is feeding the business. Above it, the business begins feeding the owner. And the difference between 1,200 members and 1,600 members is only 400 people. But those 400 members add roughly $16,800 in monthly membership revenue before allowing for the relatively small additional cost of serving them. This is why a well-run gym can look almost disappointing at first, and then suddenly become financially attractive. The treadmills were already there. The lights were already on. The front desk was already staffed. You are finally spreading the same fixed infrastructure across more paying customers. The strongest operators understand this and design the business around capacity rather than vanity. They choose a location with enough population and parking to support the membership target. They negotiate rent that still works before the club is full. They buy equipment based on actual usage instead of turning the opening day into an industrial-scale shopping spree. They schedule staff around busy periods. They make joining simple, billing reliable, cleaning obsessive, and maintenance boringly consistent. Then they build additional revenue without allowing it to distract from the membership engine. Personal training can increase revenue per member. Small group coaching can use the same floor more efficiently. Premium tiers can raise average monthly revenue without requiring another building. The positive case, then, is very real. If our hypothetical gym stabilizes near $75,000 a month in revenue and genuinely produces something close to $15,000 to $18,000 a month before taxes, major replacement spending, and financing, the initial investment can begin to look rational rather than reckless. If debt is modest and membership continues growing, the owner may eventually recover the original capital and still possess a cash-generating operating business. But there is one variable hiding inside almost every number we have just used. We assumed 1,600 paying members as though they simply arrive and remain there. They do not. A gym does not merely need members. It needs to replace the members who disappear. And the speed at which they disappear can completely rewrite the economics. The variable is churn. The percentage of members who cancel and have to be replaced. Suppose our 1,600 member gym loses 5% of its members in an average month. That is 80 people gone before the owner has grown the business by a single member. If acquiring a replacement member costs $70 in advertising, promotions, sales labor, and introductory offers, the gym must spend roughly $5,600 simply to stand still. Reduce monthly churn to 3%, and only 48 members need replacing. At the same $70 acquisition cost, replacement spending falls to $3,360. Nothing about the dumbbells changed. The lease did not change, yet retention just improved monthly economics by more than $2,000. And that is why the best gym business is not necessarily the gym that signs the most people in January. It is the one that can keep enough of them through April, August, and the following January without buying the same membership base again and again. Retention also changes lifetime value. A member paying $42 for 8 months produces $336 of membership revenue. Keep that person for 20 months, and the same initial sale produces $840. The longer a member stays, the more months you have to recover the marketing expense that brought them in. There is a second mechanism working underneath the floor: depreciation and replacement. Fitness equipment looks permanent right up until several hundred people use it every day. Upholstery tears, cables stretch, bearings wear, screens fail. Treadmills develop the expensive personality trait of being treadmills. If the owner treats every dollar left after payroll and rent as spendable profit, the accounts can look wonderful until the first major replacement cycle arrives. A sensible operator therefore reserves cash for equipment replacement and building maintenance. In our example, setting aside $3,000 each month creates a $36,000 annual replacement reserve. Then there is financing. Suppose $250,000 of the original build was borrowed rather than paid in cash. A roughly 5-year loan at around 9% would require payments of about $5,200 per month. Suddenly, the earlier $18,000 operating surplus is no longer $18,000 of owner income. Subtract a $3,000 maintenance reserve and approximately $5,200 of debt service, and available pre-tax cash drops to around $9,800. The business can still work. It simply has less room for mistakes. That distinction matters because expansion often arrives when a gym feels strongest. The first location is profitable, membership is growing, and a second site appears to promise twice the revenue. Unfortunately, it also introduces another lease, another equipment bill, another manager, another marketing launch, and another membership base that starts at zero. Revenue can double eventually. Fixed commitments double immediately. Blink Fitness offers a useful, real-world warning. The low-cost U.S. chain filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in August 2024 with about $280 million of debt. Court filings described lingering financial pressure from pandemic shutdowns, including deferred rent, even as the company continued operating and investing in locations. The business was later sold through bankruptcy, with Pure Gym winning the auction for most of Blink's assets. That does not prove low-cost gyms are bad businesses. It shows how a membership model with substantial lease obligations and debt can become vulnerable when cash flow is interrupted for long enough. The lesson is not never borrow. It is that recurring revenue should not be confused with guaranteed revenue. Two mistakes matter more than almost everything else. The first is opening with a membership target that the local market cannot realistically support. A beautiful 15,000 square foot club that needs 2,500 members to work is not an impressive facility if its catchment area will only deliver 1,300. The economics were broken before the first treadmill was plugged in. The second is allowing fixed costs to rise faster than proven membership demand. Owners often upgrade the building, add staff, lease more equipment, or open another location because current revenue looks strong. Each decision converts optional cash into mandatory monthly expense. When memberships soften, the cost remains. So let us run 3 endings for our hypothetical gym. In the optimistic case, the club matures to 1,850 members, paying an average of $43 a month. Membership revenue is about $79,550. Add $12,000 from training and other services, and monthly revenue reaches roughly $91,500. Even if operating costs rise to $61,000, the gym produces about $30,500 before taxes, replacement reserves, and debt. After reserving $3,000 for future equipment and paying roughly $5,200 toward financing, around $22,000 remains before tax. If membership builds steadily, a club like this might reach a stable operating rhythm within roughly 2 years. The realistic case is less glamorous. Membership settles around $1,500 at an average $41, producing $61,500. Extras add $7,000. Revenue is therefore $68,500. If regular operating costs have crept to $58,000, operating profit is only $10,500. After the same replacement reserve and debt payment, usable pre-tax cash is closer to $2,300. The gym is profitable on paper. The owner may still feel remarkably unpaid. And in the difficult case, membership slips to $1,250, while discounting pushes average dues to $39. Membership revenue falls below $49,000. Add $5,000 of extras, and the business is bringing in about $54,000, against operating costs around $57,000 before debt service or replacement reserves. Nothing catastrophic happened. A few ordinary variables simply moved in the wrong direction. So, should you own a gym? Under the right conditions, absolutely. A gym can combine recurring revenue, relatively low marginal cost for additional members, multiple revenue streams, and strong operating leverage once fixed costs are covered. A disciplined owner with sensible rent, manageable debt, good retention, and a large enough local market can build a valuable cash-generating operation. It becomes dangerous when the owner mistakes activity for economics, packed evenings for profitability, sign-ups for retention, revenue for available cash, or expansion for success. Go back to that opening image. The car park is full. The treadmills are moving. The membership counter looks impressive. You now know the question is not how many people are inside tonight. It is how many are still paying next month, what it costs to keep replacing the ones who leave, and how much cash remains after the building, staff, equipment, and lenders have all been paid. A gym sells access to exercise. The owner is really managing the economics of recurring promises. If you enjoy seeing what businesses actually look like underneath the revenue line, subscribe for more ownership economics breakdowns. And tell me which business you want investigated next.